On today's video, we're gonna talk about the headlines that everyone is seeing about no more 6 commission, no more buyer's commission. On today's video, I'm gonna break down what it means to you as a buyer, what it means to you as a seller. I'm gonna explain how it used to be, how it's gonna be now, and who it might benefit and who it actually might hurt. What's going on, everyone? Adam Schwarz here, top real estate agent. If this is your first time to my channel, every single week I drop videos about real estate, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. On today's video, I'm gonna break down what everyone is talking about the no more 6% commissions, no more buyer's commissions. I'm gonna show you how it was before, what is gonna be different now, and who is it gonna benefit and who it might hurt. Previously, before July of this year, it's always been this way. As a listing agent, I would go to the seller's house and I would negotiate the commission for the whole transaction. So I would negotiate my commission and I would actually negotiate for the buyer's commission. So if I was a buyer's agent and I went and worked with you as a buyer and I went and showed you a house, the seller would pay my commission. And it's funny that we say the buyer or the seller would pay the commission. Really, the buyer's the one bringing the money to the deal. So who's actually paying for it? The seller or the buyer? Without the buyer, the seller has no money to pay the commission. So that's one way I want you to think about it. The buyers are always brought in all the money on the deals. The seller never brings any money into the deal. So who's paying for it? Actually, the buyers have always paid for commissions. It's just we always think about that differently because sellers see it on their net sheet, they see how it's negotiable, but without a buyer, a seller can't give any commission. And I want to talk about something on the commissions. One, commissions have always been negotiable. This whole automatically 6%, no offense, 6% went out a long time ago, especially how prices have gone up. Yes, prices have gone up, but cost of photos, videos, marketing, staff has also gone up. And so you don't realize how much agents don't net. They just see the big number because there's a lot of fees and costs, taxes, and all those other things that go off to the side that we actually have to pay for. So one, it's never been a locked in just 6%. Two, it's always been negotiable. And the third thing is, as a homeowner, you've actually never even needed an agent. Some people have tried to sell their house without an agent. So you've never been forced to actually have an agent or pay commissions. So that's one thing I want to get off the table because this whole like guaranteed 6%, I wish my job was that easy, but trust me, it's not. So that was the old way. So starting in July, as a listing agent, I am going to go to the seller and I am going to negotiate just my commission, what I am going to charge to sell this person's house. After I figure out that negotiation, we're then going to put the house on the market. Then if I was helping someone buy a house as a buyer's agent, I now basically have to go do a listing presentation with them. I now have to negotiate my commission with them. And now buyers, before you can actually see a house, you're gonna have to sign a contract stating that you're gonna pay this agent a certain amount of money when closing on a house. So you might be saying, Adam, well, like, I'm a first-time home buyer, I'm a VA, I don't have any money, how am I supposed to pay a commission? Am I gonna be unrepresented? I don't wanna be unrepresented. I understand that. So even though sellers will not pay a buyer's commission anymore, what sellers can do is add what's called buyer's concessions, which sellers have done for buyers that need closing costs, they don't have enough money to bring in. So sellers have always given concessions, but now those concessions can be used toward the buyer's agent fee that the buyer is in contract with that agent to pay them. So what do I think is gonna happen? Do I think that all of a sudden there's gonna be tons of buyers that don't have agents? Of course not. But something you need to think about, and every market's gonna be different. In Riverside, in the last 30 days, I calculated 37% of deals needed closing costs, actually buyer's concessions. So what does that mean? Those people had to need the seller to give them concessions for the house to close. Because if the seller had an offer with no concessions, it was a better offer and the seller's gonna net more money, they would have gone with that deal. So that was the only deal they had. And so now those people already had no money to go into a deal. Now they're gonna need even more money from the seller to pay a buyer's agent. So the seller might even net less money or the same amount they were paying both sides of the commission. That's one way to think of it. And then I also want you to think about this. Out of the 37% of those, great, we have those. But what about the rest of the deal that they might have just had enough for down payment and closing costs? Now you're asking them to add another $5,000, $10,000 fee, whatever the fees are gonna be. That person's gonna have to ask the seller to pay for it if they actually wanna get the house. And at the end of the day, sellers have always worried about this. Not how much they pay in splits or commissions or whatever. They've always just cared about how much money they're gonna net. And so you better be prepared. If we're at 37% right now of people needing concessions, I wouldn't be doubted that deal goes to about 50% of people needing concessions. So you sellers who you think you're gonna get away with no paying no buyer's fee, if you want your house to sell, you're gonna have to give up buyer concessions, aka the money to pay their agent. So this is who I think is gonna hurt, and this is gonna help, and this is what's something, pay attention, that no one's talking about. No one in this world, it was so crazy. I'm just a real estate agent with no college degree in a city in Riverside in Southern California, and no one has talked about this on CNN, Fox, nothing. How this is actually gonna hurt you sellers, and this is the way it hurts you. So say I put your house on the market, you gotta pay my listing fee. Say every offer you get, those buyers need concessions. Say you're moving from like a lower end, you're upgrading, something like that. So then you have to end up paying the buyer's commission in concessions. So you're paying the same fees you would always pay. But now here's the problem. You're gonna go buy a house, and say the house you go buy has 10 offers and they're not offering any concessions because they don't need to. Now what do you have to do? You have to have a contract with me to represent you on the buy side. You now have to pay my buyer's commission. So you went from paying 2 commissions to now possibly you have to pay 3 commissions. Wow, no one talked to you guys about that one. So everyone thinks this is such a great win for sellers and a hurt for buyers. Trust me, buyers out there, if there's a house that's been sitting on the market for 6 months and you want concessions, you're gonna get them. If you're gonna go against an offer that has 10 offers on one house, you're probably not getting concessions. But this is the one thing you're really gonna have to think about. Now you buyers are actually paying the agent that you're working with. You really make sure that you're working with someone who's actually worth the money, because now it's actually gonna be able to see coming out of your pocket. And so that's really what I see happening that's gonna make a biggest change in this industry. We're already expecting 30% of agents leaving this industry. And why is that? Most agents do less than 5 deals a year. And most agents actually don't know what they're talking about. Sadly, it's part of the industry. And so they're not gonna have the ability to be able to show the value to buyers or know what they're talking about, because they used to say, don't worry, I'm free to you. Well, you're not free anymore. Hopefully this video helps. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. You can comment below, send me a message, whatever it is, doesn't matter. I'd love to get back to you. I just want you guys to understand the ins and out of this new thing, but this is gonna start in July. Starting in July, sellers will not be able to offer a buyer's commission. They will be still able to offer buyer concessions. So hopefully this video helps. Hope this clears out some things. Hope I made you think about things. And if I did those 3 things, then I'm doing a good job. And that's why I make these videos for you. So if you have any questions, comment below. And until next time, peace.